One, two, three, four.
Traveling the state of Arizona, you'll find that the locals of the Arizona Education Association are organizing members and potential members. Many exciting actions have led to great successes for members in the schools they serve. These locals are on the road to organizing. Our road trip starts in Flagstaff with Robert Kelty. We learned of their hometown March for Schools that turned out more than 500 for their local rally in support of public schools. Down the highway, we made our way to Peoria, where we found Trina Berg. PEA members knocked on doors to tell their community how budget cuts would impact their local school. Short drive down the road and we were in Goodyear, Arizona with Anna Barrera and the Agua Fria District Education Association. Their organizing around contract issues led to the greatest membership increase in the state. Down the I-10, we found Dan Meyer in the Flowing Wells School District. He organized members to demonstrate their frustration by picketing the governor's Southern Arizona office. Nearing the Mexican border in our final interview, Donna Bazzo told us how Santa Cruz Valley teachers and ESP were able to gain recognition through a card check campaign. Now these locals are on the road to organizing.
Well, I woke up this morning.
We heard numbers like $18 million. That didn't make sense. That's such a large number that they didn't understand that at the school that's going to mean this number of teachers ripped, this program cut in half, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's really what we tried to do, was focus on that's what the state's going to do. Now what's that going to look like for your school? And that's what we did particularly with Skyview, with our community.
A lot of anger coming from the community was directed towards our school board members, our school district administration officials, and none of that anger was appropriately directed towards the legislature.
We got to get people out there making it more known what's going on, and we particularly need to focus on the governor.
It was hard here anyway because administration made a lot of decisions without any input from staff members at all. We were going to have to make sure that the school board was part of our strategy. And the end result had to be standing in front of the school board and asking them to recognize us.
That was the first thing, is we wanted to make sure we communicate to the teachers, hey, did you know what's happening to your contracts? That was one of the things that we looked at. Did you know that in the contract it talks about decreasing your salary, but it doesn't talk about increasing your salary?
The first thing we needed to do was go out and explain to them, hey, this is what recognition means. Now you need to know that they're trying to take this away from us. Every member at every site would be contacted one-on-one, face-to-face. We knew that it wouldn't work any other way.
We started talking to community members, church leaders, school board members, elected officials across both parties, and kind of tried to feel if there was support out there for some type of rally or event to make a stand for education.
If we could do something on the scale of a March 4th, get 10,000 people to the Capitol, that's great. I don't know how to do that very well, but on a local level, we could do something like, yeah, we'll commit to every Monday, and so our local did that.
And it's part of organizing. The more people you have standing behind you saying the same message, the stronger your message becomes, and also the more comfortable with your message you become. So, and it's very difficult to stand there and tell people that this is what's happening and this is how we should vote, or this is how we should feel, or these are the things that are happening and this is why we're trying to do it, when you don't have people standing behind you that have organized with you that feel the same.
We divided it so that no one had more than 10 people to contact.
And we actually took a few members, non-members, members of the competing organization. We all got together and PEA created a half-sheet flyer, and within 2 days organized our staff, including parents and other volunteers that heard about what we were doing, and we walked door to door with this entire attendance zone.
There were between 4 and 15 or 20 people every Monday carrying signs on the corner of a very busy downtown intersection. And by doing so, we got people involved who had never been involved before in anything political.
I really wanted to take the association from being what were my issues to what were the district issues, and that opened up a huge can of worms because there were so many issues. People were very tired of being pushed around.
We had 500 signatures, so we had more people there, but to collect 500 signatures on a very short notice.
Take advantage of what happened and try to recruit people. So that way we get people that say, hey, this could happen to you, so if you want to make a change, then we need your voice.
And so from there we broke our steering committee into school sites, where we had a school site coordinator at every school, and their job was only to inform the other teachers of the rally and what time to be there and when to be there.
There were people who were afraid, especially the ESP people. And we told them, you know, if your name is on this card and your card is one of hundreds in this box, believe me, they're not going to go through and find all the names that are on here. They can't possibly do that. Strength is in the numbers.
It was actually a very positive experience for people who had never done this type of thing before, and we'd walked in groups. We tried to spread it out. We tried to have parents, classified and certified, kind of all together. We even had some students come along, and as we were walking around, the students would see us and be like, oh, and they kind of walked around with us and, you know, whatever. So that was a very cool experience, you know, on a Saturday morning.
Well, you know, anytime you want to see people take political action, they have to have some sense of empowerment, some sense of, I can do this. And generally it has to be in a fairly easy way, at least to start with.
Even if we didn't pull them in, what we wanted was, we knew what we needed was, we needed every person in this district to say, even if I'm not a member, I am telling you that I want this Santa Cruz Valley Education Association to represent me at the table.
Empower teachers and parents to unify around education, particularly around quality public schools.
Times are tough right now, but we all have to come together, and we as teachers, we are tired of being out of the loop. We want to be decision makers. So we want to work with you. So you either work with us or you work against us.
It filled our little room that we have our board meetings in. It was great, and the board was impressed. And the board, we got up, we told them, you know, here are the cards. Physically, here are the cards. You can see every one of them if you want to. Here are the percentages. We had one site that was below 96%. 50% plus one, we would be recognized, and they would continue to recognize us, and we got that in writing.
We have more teachers, I guess, that are involved, more voices.
I would love to see the PEA continue to work with the community, because I do think it's important.
And the truth is, there's been much more involvement than ever in our district. We didn't have a political action chair before, and now that's a viable thing to do. So doing those things have gotten people much more involved. And one of the best things about that is it cuts through the sense of, we're helpless, what can we do? The politicians are going to do it or they're not. And now there's much more of a sense of, they'll listen to us, they know us.
They took note that our recruitment, our members were increasing. And all of a sudden, they respected us.
In the end, because these people met each other, and in talking about the association, talking about what being recognized means, what going to the bargaining table meant, people realized that somebody was out there speaking for them. And we picked up quite a few members through that.
And from that conversation, and from that, I do think we had a few members join because they realized that we were the ones out there being politically active.
When we got this, you know, all of the people at the board meeting were clapping, and then the next day, it was like members came out of the woodwork and were sending emails. We did it, you know, yeah. And I really saw that it wasn't the association that had done something, actually. It was every individual member felt like they had done something, and this was their victory. And I realized at that point, as a leader, that if you want something done, you've got to find a way that people can feel that they individually, honestly, were the victors, that they were the ones that won.